I went to spy on a mafia empire. He made me his wife instead. Grief doesn't scream. It whispers. It waits. And then it moves. The night my brother died, they said it was a business misunderstanding. They said he got involved with the wrong people. They said I should let it go. But grief is a language only siblings understand. And my brother wasn't careless. He was terrified. I saw in the last video he sent me. His hands were shaking. He kept looking behind him. And on his laptop, before he wiped it clean, there was a symbol, a black dragon, and a name tied to it. The most powerful crime family in Seoul. The empire hosting the annual Mafia Assembly. The same event I would later walk into carrying champagne. Madame Adeola had no idea she was helping me wage war. She had been supplying catering staff to that family for almost a decade. She trusted me, said I was disciplined, soft-spoken, reliable. If only she knew that behind my obedience was a funeral I hadn't finished mourning. When she told me they needed extra staff for their biggest annual gathering, I felt something dark settle inside me. This wasn't coincidence. This was access. So I ironed my uniform, packed my gloves, and carried revenge in my handbag. The ballroom wasn't beautiful. It was intimidating. Gold pillars towering like monuments to greed. Crystal chandeliers dripping light like stolen diamonds. Men in black suits whose silence felt more violent than shouting. Politicians. Underworld generals. Two empires under one roof. And somewhere among them, the family connected to my brother's blood. I served drinks. I lowered my eyes, but I memorized faces. Every laugh felt fake. Every smile looked rehearsed. And then they called him upstairs. The heir, the dragon's son, the man whose name was buried in my brother's files. I didn't know what they were telling him in that private meeting, but later I learned they were announcing his engagement to the daughter of their biggest rival empire. A political marriage, a contract sealed with vows. He was supposed to smile, shake hands, submit. Instead, he detonated. They had chosen everything in his life. His schools, his military training, the men allowed near him, the women forbidden from him, what he wore, when he appeared, when he disappeared. He once told his father he wanted to study art. They laughed. He once tried to cancel a political dinner. They locked him in a room until he agreed. Powerful? Yes. Free? Never. And now they wanted to choose his wife. His father called him an asset, not a son. That was the moment something snapped. He stood up and said, "I'm not your investment. I am your successor." Then he walked out, and the executives followed. Because when a king walks out angry, you prepare for blood. I was refilling glasses when I felt it. A shift in the air. He came down the stairs like a storm dressed in silk. His face unreadable, but his eyes were rebellion. He scanned the room once. Then his gaze stopped on me. I don't know what he saw. Maybe the way I wasn't intimidated. Maybe the way I moved without begging for approval. Maybe he saw freedom. Or maybe he just saw a weapon. Because that's what I was. He walked toward me. Guests parted instinctively. He stopped in front of me. Our eyes locked. I didn't look away. I couldn't. He grabbed my wrist. Not roughly, but like a man who had already decided. Gasps rippled behind us. He pulled me into the hallway. My pulse exploded. Not fear, adrenaline. This was the dragon himself. The man tied to my brother's last days. And now he was inches from me. His voice was low, controlled. Marry me. Right now. No build-up. No mercy. Just strategy wrapped in boldness. My brain screamed at me to step back, to remember my mission. But my body betrayed me. Because standing that close to him felt like standing next to fire. And then, he kissed me. Not soft, not rushed, intentional. His hand slid to my waist. The other rose slowly to my neck. Firm, possessive, like he was claiming territory. For one terrifying second, my thoughts disappeared. The hallway blurred. My fingers gripped his jacket before I realized what I was doing. His lips weren't gentle. They were convincing. Convincing enough that if anyone saw, they would believe it. But something else was there. Something dangerous. Heat. His breath mixed with mine. My heart pounded so violently it hurt. And for that one reckless heartbeat, I forgot my brother's blood on cold pavement. I forgot revenge. I felt alive, and that terrified me more than anything. He pulled back slightly, our foreheads almost touching. "You don't belong serving them," he murmured. "You belong beside me." I should have laughed. Instead, I whispered, "And what makes you think I belong to you?" A flicker of respect crossed his face. Then he said quietly, "Because I choose you. Not love. Choice. Power." And I realized he wasn't proposing. He was declaring independence. And I was his rebellion. So I didn't say yes. But I didn't walk away. That was enough. When we returned to the ballroom, the rival empire was already seated. The daughter stood beside her father. Graceful, poised, certain. She wore white, as if she had already won. He walked straight past them, up to the stage, still holding my hand. The room slowly quieted. He took the microphone. His voice was calm, too calm. I was just informed of my engagement. Murmurs. He continued. I declined. Gasps. Then he pulled me forward. "I will choose my own wife." He lifted my hand into the air. "And I choose her." Silence. The rival daughter's face shattered. Humiliation is quiet before it screams. Her father stood up slowly. "You insult my family?" he asked. The heir didn't look at him. He looked at his own father instead. "You want an alliance?" He squeezed my hand. "Here's my decision." The rival leader's pride cracked in public. In front of politicians. In front of generals. In front of the underworld. His daughter's mascara ran as she followed him out. The alliance between the two greatest empires in the country collapsed in one sentence. Security hands moved toward weapons. Old grudges reignited. This wasn't romance. This was a declaration of political war. His father's face darkened, not with anger, with calculation. And that was worse. The heir dropped the microphone. It hit the marble like a gunshot. Then he turned his back on both empires. Walked out, and I walked beside him. Not as a maid, not as a spy, but as the woman he had just used to fracture a kingdom. The doors closed behind us, and as his men escorted us to the car, I realized something chilling. I had planned to destroy his family from the inside, but now I was married into it.